Hey, it's Renee from the Craft Table. Welcome again to another summer embroidery stitch along. I am so happy that you have decided to stitch with me over the next 12 weeks. I did want to go over a few housekeeping um, details before I dive into week one. If you participated in last summer's hand embroidery summer stitch along, there will be a few changes to this year's, just based on some feedback that I got last year. The main difference is going to be I'm going to try to record each week two different videos. One will be like this one, where I will probably talk longer than most people want to hear. And then I'll do just a quick summary video. Couple of reasons behind this. Everyone learns differently and everyone has different preferences. Now, obviously, I cannot make every single person happy, but I do tend to talk a lot and over-explain things. And some people like that. They want to hear someone talking in the background while they are doing their hand embroidery. And then there's also beginners out there who want a step-by-step explanation and several demonstrations of how I apply that stitch to certain areas of the fabric. So one video will be similar to what I did last year. And I will link back to the short version. So the reason for the short version is some people just want to get on with the stitching. They don't want to hear about me, my week, or what I did last time, or where I applied a stitch in a certain area on my fabric. So that short video is for those people. And then also the videos stay up. Currently, so I am recording this in June of 2025. 2024 Summer Stitch Along is still up on YouTube. So for those of you who participated last year, or maybe you're still working on your fabric, embroidering your fabric, and you just want a refresher, even if you like to hear me talk a lot, but you just want to go back as just to like refresh your memory on how to do a certain stitch. I've heard people say that they do that as well. They've, bookmarked all those videos. So for that reason, I mean, I'm not going to go back and re-record 2024, but for this year, you can just access that particular stitch video, if that makes sense. Okay, so that is one change. The other one is last year, in addition to having all the videos on YouTube, I also had the videos and links to the videos on my Podia platform. And I was really hoping to have more interaction amongst all of us. And I thought Podia would be the best place for that because it has a community aspect to it as well. But I didn't see a lot of people taking advantage of that or using that. And it was just an extra step for me to record everything. I didn't have to re-record everything, but I had to do posts and links and all that. So I'm not going to do that this year. So getting back to this summer's embroidery stitch along. Welcome. This is week one, which is where we gather our supplies and kick off everything. So supplies that you will need: fabric to stitch on, a hoop, floss, and a needle. Oh, and a pair of scissors, to cut your threads. So the summer stitch along, like 2024, it's a free stitch along. If you sign up, I had a link to a landing page. And if you signed up on that, you will get an email every week when the video goes live with a direct link to the YouTube video. You can use whatever fabric you want, whatever thread you want. You can do whatever you'd like. However, as I go through each week and we talk about a different embroidery stitch, I will be stitching on a particular fabric panel that I do have available in my shop, the Craft Table. And a lot of people like to work on the same the same thing that I'm working on, the same threads, and they want to either apply the same stitches where I did, or at least they just want to have the fabric and the threads that I'm using, even if they do something different with their stitching. So this is what we're going to be doing for 2025. It is an Allison Glass Art Theory color wheel. It is cut so that you get with the fabric, and it's about between 11 and a half and 12 inches. So you have four of these. And I will be using her threads. This is the one that I think matches if you were only going to get one box. This is called Sun. She also has Flora and Fauna. Those are her 3 solid thread collections, also sold individually. So I'll be using that. I've got a 5, I think this is a 6-inch, 5 or 6-inch hoop. And the needles I like to use for the 8-weight pearl cotton, which is what I'm using, is a pack of Bowen size 5. Those are the needles that I like to use. I will be working on something with the white background. So I will be lining my fabric. And what I'm using, there are other options. I just have some white muslin. It's not very expensive. It's just something that I had on hand. So that's what I will be doing. I will line my fabric with the muslin. I haven't trimmed mine to size yet. But if you imagine you're doing this long strip, you may want to baste it along the edges, maybe in between each circle, just so it doesn't shift once you start stitching all the areas, the stitches will secure it, but you're working with a long strip with a long piece of lining. So I would recommend somehow temporarily adhering that. Now you may find you want to work with a fusible light interface. If you do that, then you don't have to worry about it. You would be ironing it on, and you don't have to worry about basting it. These are my thoughts on keeping it with the panel 4 circles. I think if you do that, it would make a really nice table runner, or incorporating it into maybe a runner at the bottom of your bed. If you're just working with like a 12-inch, 11 and a half, 12-inch square, after you did your hand embroidery, you could turn it into a tote bag or a pillow like we did last time. You can stitch it on the back of a jean jacket. You could include it into a laptop cover, notebook cover, journal cover, a zip pouch. There's so many things you can do, anything that you would do with something that's like 12 inches. So gather your fabric, your threads, your needle, your hoop, your scissors, and join me in the stitch along. And I will see you next week for week 2 when we actually start embroidering. Happy stitching.